2, 1.
What's up? This is Flex Wheeler with another episode of Flex for Life with my hopefully cool-headed co-host here, Greg. What's up, G?
Well, we'll see what happens in the second part.
But we're going to talk a little bit about Prime Mode MD, a company that we both represent and deeply involved in some of the benefits of peptides. Obviously, on all peptide, forms, they have to say for experimental use only, not for human consumption, and that's just a legality. But like I said in an earlier interview podcast, that it's been going on for the last 10 years, and it's a way that you can utilize health supplements without having to go the route of hormonal supplements. And let's get into it, of one specific peptide that's really powerful.
Well, actually, just going back, I mean, just peptides in general, what they typically do is they're supportive of natural body functions. There's some out there that there's a bunch of different peptides which we sell that are actual growth hormone secretagogues. So they actually promote and amp up your body's natural production of growth hormones. And
Yeah.
Flex and I both know from our bodybuilding days, or I guess mine are still sort of active, but what are the benefits of growth hormone? I mean, you didn't use as much, but you and Ronnie had several conversations of GH usage and dosage and benefits of.
Yeah.
He said himself, if you used as much as him, what would have happened?
Yeah. As he put it, it would have been hard to keep me off his back. But and that's one of the great things about these peptides. They turn your natural system on instead of turning off your system. Whenever you introduce a hormone into your system, basically what you're telling your body is it doesn't have to produce that anymore. But this is like a turbocharge. It actually just helps your own natural system produce actual more, or get back up to standards of where it was before.
All right, but for today, BPC 157 is, I guess, the peptide of the day, we're going to call it. Is that kind of the subject for now on?
Sure.
But there's obviously we're still in the early research phases of this. So they're doing a lot of the research on transgenic mice and rats with tissue regeneration, both soft tissue and hard tissue. But the results coming back are pretty profound. So everything from tissue regeneration and injury recovery. So we're not even talking about, we're talking about if you have, let's say, if you're coming back from a knee tear of some sort, let's say an ACL tear, and you have a surgery.
Like my shoulders, for instance.
There you go.
Yeah.
Reduced inflammation and pain. So that's something I know you're not a big proponent or a big believer in overtraining, but the average person can't overdo it. And then you have some issues there. Yeah. Or there's some exogenous reasons why they might have that. Overall gut health, which goes back into everything else from, digestion, elimination to testosterone production even. Enhanced blood vessel formation. So, transportation of nutrients. Neuroprotective effects. So now we're talking about, mental health issues.
Right.
So they said research suggests it may protect neurons and promote the healing of nervous tissues, which you and I have both had little bouts with what is it called now?
Neuropathy.
Yeah, from the chicken pox thing. What was it? Shingles.
Shingles. God dang, yeah.
Right, which causes neuro damage, right? That's part of the process. So this could have some beneficial effects with regenerating. I'm still dealing with some numbness in that area.
Yeah.
5 years later.
Crazy. That's crazy. If you've had shingles, pain. It's just, my God, man. It's incredible. And it's all your nerve endings. So that's really interesting that there's actually peptides out there that can counter that.
Yeah, and if you go and I know the majority of the people they're going to watch this, or how does that help me look better naked kind of thing? Obviously the injury prevention and support, because of the tissue regeneration, the less injured you are, the more workouts you can get in place. And that's recovery process as well. So reduce inflammation and pain, It's actually been linked to muscle growth, also enhanced muscle growth because of tissue regeneration.
Sure.
So it actually all factors in. This could be, if you don't want to go the route of hormone replacement or enhancement, because like Flex said, when you start adding in something your body naturally produces and it produces more than you need, it shuts down your regular production. In this case, what it's doing is amping up your body's natural production of what it's supposed to be producing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to let everybody know, when you're talking about the studies on rats and everything like that, it sounds really fishy and kind of scary, but I just want to let you guys know all drugs use that protocol in testing. So, there's billions of drugs that you guys are using out there that went through that same protocol. I don't know why they choose to use that route, but it's been used for years. And a lot
Decades.
of the drugs that you guys are taking now have been, the first studies were done on those type of rats. And they're not the type of rat that you catch in your home or in your backyard. These are actually genetically modified rats.
Yeah, they're genetically modified to respond as closely to how a human would respond.
Right.
That's the difference between, that's the transgenic definition right there.
Right.
And those are going back to the 80s. So we've
Yeah.
been utilizing this for treatments on just about everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's I mean, you have a situation where you can impact the biomechanical reactions of muscle, joints, connective tissue, bones. I mean, just the impact this could have. And we talked about, putting protocol together for first responders. We just talked about ICE agents not being able to fulfill basic physical fitness tests. Let's say they are. I mean, we went through what you went through during a post academy back in the 90s to what CHP now.
80s. I went through in the 80s.
Was it the 80s?
Yeah, it was 1986 when I went through academy, dude. Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't
Crazy.
go that far. But I mean, you look at the basic California post standards. You got the 99-yard obstacle course, the dummy drag, which is 30 some odd feet. It's 165-pound dead weight dummy. The 6-foot wall. You did that part, right? The chain
No,
link.
we didn't do the 6-foot wall loaded dummy drag.
Oh, so I mean, now you have a 6-foot wall, both the chain link fence and the hard fence.
Talk like the
The
military.
500-yard run, and I believe some agencies actually have in their push-up, sit-up type requirements, along with either a 1 mile or 2 mile run or something like that.
Yeah.
I know that Santa Clara PD or Santa Clara County at one point had a 5 mile run as part of their testing.
Yeah.
Over time, but at the end of every academy, you're going to have overuse injuries, though.
Of course.
After 20 to 30 years of a job like that, you're going to have overuse injuries.
Yeah.
This could have a profound implication on alleviating those issues, and which would in turn, first off, the officer, deputy, or whatever patrol person would go into their retirement healthier than they would have normally. Plus, they're able to perform their duties longer because they're no longer injured, which has an issue. I mean, that's one of the big issues with law enforcement, first responders, is injury issues, having to deal with that while on the job. But looking at the budget side of things, the less injured, more healthy those people are, what are their health insurance costs?
Yeah,
those
it's going to be a lot less. That's right.
And that can apply to everybody else out there.
Yeah, definitely. If you haven't, I advise you, please have a look at Prime Mode MD and see what we have to offer. There's doctors on staff. You can ask any question you want. There's pretty much a peptide or hormone out there that we have that can help you. So if you're looking to, become back the person you were before, or you have injuries like I do, and as I said before, a lot of people might be asking, well, Flex, why don't you use those? You have a lot of those issues. Just because I'm traveling right now and I wouldn't be able to carry those across country, when I get back. And at the end of October, October 31st is when I come back home. I'm actually going to start talking about the various different peptides that I'm utilizing and revealing how fat I am now and what type of shape I can get back in using those.
And we actually spoke about this. We're doing before and after pictures. He's taking his shirt off.
Oh man, I might have to lie. Probably what I'll do is if I do really take the before pictures, I'm not releasing them until I'm at least in half good shape. Yeah, I am not going through the mental crush of what the internet is going to do to him. Like, oh my God, dude, is that what you look like? Yeah. But switching gears here, um, let's go into a topic that I know you're going to be super heated over. I'm gonna have to calm you down. I'm going to play the devil advocate here while you just let loose on a fury. But it's about martial art workouts. It's you know, about where the martial arts is for everyone, and then also just honestly how business have got involved, and it's more about money driven businesses than it is about the true art and the experience.
Yeah, I guess the question I pose to you on this one is: should the martial arts be for everyone? Which is, I guess, a little bit too broad, right? Because I think the martial arts probably is for everyone in
Yeah, but
some way
what
or
we're
shape
going to be
or form,
seeing isn't a martial
right?
art.
But I mean, for me, as a former, I've owned, and when you first met me, I had a mixed martial arts center,
Yeah,
and since then I've had
nice one,
another.
pretty nice.
And there's still in both of them are actually, I don't know if the second one is in business anymore because I up until Flex I've had some bad luck with business partners, but the first one is still in business. Last I know. Now, as someone who's competed in the martial arts at a relatively high level, been doing it all my life, I have come to the point now that I no longer make money off of it. I'm not so sure that specific martial arts are for everyone. And it's definitely not something you should be utilizing to get in shape or lose weight. That's my personal opinion, though. I definitely don't like the way that the general gym industry has taken versions of it and stuck some group exercise instructor into a position where they are a voice of authority to some extent, where they utilize the video you're going to see next, which I have to prepare myself for. I'm going to take a deep breath first. I'm going to count to 10 very quickly because we don't have a whole lot of time. And I'm going to press play. And let me know what you think.
You know,
How many
my
times do you see
first
that?
thought is what they're really doing is biting off of my boy Billy Blanks with his Taibo.
Oh,
Um,
he is. Let's put him on the list of things we need to discuss.
now that's going to go deep because the difference with Billy is he was a true super high level fighter.
Which makes this worse.
Yeah. But so Greg, I have to disagree with you as far as them taking variations, not this class, because that's you're basically doing aerobics is what they're doing. That's not really like any form of martial arts, but there are gyms out there, boxing gyms out there that have training classes, and I've always understood boxers and what their real workouts are is brutal. Just like wrestling, their real workouts and what they go through, absolutely brutal. So if you can figure out a way to take that same discipline and put it into a large academy, of course it works. But I think, like I said before, the problem is you have these business minds that are watered down in that. And they're the ones that are being visually seen. Those are the ones that we see. Those are the ones that we're posting right now. So, you know, do I think what we just seen will help you get in shape?
It could.
I guess it depends on where you started, right? If you just weren't doing anything at all, yeah, that's going to be exhausting. But
Mhm.
I think the person who goes through an average 8 hour a day, some type of physical job, yeah, that's going to be pretty funny to see them do that because they're not going to get anything out of it. I mean, something as low impact as the postal person, they have more activity than what we just seen on the video. So, you know, yeah,
Well, again, going back to the fundamentals of things, as someone who has run these places before and taught classes, in the perfect world, if you're going to do it right, let's just even take Shotokan karate. How many stances are you going through just moving forward and back? For how long? Basically until you get it right, right? Until you're
Yeah,
the instructor, sensei, whatever you want to call them, come to the conclusion that you are proficient in this part of it. Then we can add some upper body stuff. But until then, you're doing front stances moving
sure,
forward
sure.
and
The
front
basic.
stances moving backwards
Yeah,
for days.
yeah, yeah.
In
Not to mention that,
boxing,
just sitting in a hurdle stand punching,
yeah.
your
Well, we might
legs
even
are
get to
just
that
going to
point,
be
just
in
sitting
fire.
in a horse stance for a long time
Yeah,
until you can do that proficiently.
yeah,
Again, that's me going back to the very fundamentalist view of things. In my sense, it's what is it? The saying, "It's the fool builds his foundation of a house on sand."
yeah. I got you.
That's typically what's happening here. And even in those cases, another video that I'm going to pull up, mentally counting to 10, calming myself down, centering my chakras. This is another kickboxing gym, I believe, and this person. I mean, we'll play the video and then we'll talk. How many
Nice
fundamental
work.
issues are you seeing there? If we're to play it again, just fundamental issues with hands, footwork.
Well, my first question is it more of a workout or is it martial arts? I think again, what they're doing is biting off of martial arts move and trying to turn it into an actual type aerobic type workout. Just scanning that gym, from that video, I see a bunch of long bags.
Yeah, and
So
she's
it's
barefoot too, which kind of tells me, well, not everybody there is barefoot. I mean, it looks like I don't know. I'm gonna,
even just the trainer. Oh, hey, nice
which
work.
is a Muay Thai thing. Here's the thing again, going back to fundamentals. Her hand, her hand work was horrific. They were dropping. There was no snap. There was no hip movement. Her footwork is horrific. So why the hell would you have her do it, with those two things in mind? Why the hell would you have her do a spinning back kick?
Yeah.
That's going to do
Again,
a back
Greg,
flip
I
before you
think
learn to crawl.
you're looking at it from a pure martial artist point of view. And if you are, yeah, that's garbage. Even more so, why would you videotape that particular person?
And
It
put it on
should
social media.
it should have been a higher level person if you're going to try to use it for advertisement. But again, if it's someone who's never done it or haven't been that active, is going to be beneficial for them. So I think a lot of these gyms like that out there, they're not, I don't think they're, God, I hope they're not teaching technique as far as self-defense. I think it's more of a kind of just aerobic thing. And it's just in now. Yeah, just like back before there was boxes all over the place. And boxes, when we talk about boxes, that's the great sport that Greg loves so much. But now it's martial arts, right? Because it's on TV. Um, it's in movies, so people are biting off of that and really, really watering it down. And as a true martial artist, I can see how it's offending you because it's watered down. Because you're looking at her techniques, and obviously they're absolute garbage. But I think what that person is trying to do is, I hope, through working out and just getting their heart rate up to burn calories. I would hope not. This is nothing to do with self-defense or power or technique. Is
Well,
just movement.
I mean, obviously, I did it from a business sense also, and maybe I'm a little bit more forceful on this one. The academies that I had, we made it well known. This is not a McDojo. You're not coming here to earn belts or anything else. You're going to learn the art. You're going to learn this specific fighting style, and you're going to build a good foundation first. And if it takes longer for you to get the footwork done, you might not be hitting anything for a little while.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
is why.
Yeah.
And
But how many years ago was that? What year was that, Greg?
right before the pandemic, so 2018, 2019.
So even then, and especially back when we took martial arts, there were true dojos. I mean, you just didn't get a freaking yellow belt or green belt unless you deserved it, and you can be there for years until you got it. That was
Mhm.
just normal. That's the class that we come from, and especially as a black belt. No, that's going to be a while. You're going to be, like especially from my dojo with training with Ty McGuire. Now you're going to be very experienced, and you're not going to be one of those black belts who go and get beat up by a green belt. It's different now. It's just different now.
Right.
And I
I had to
don't
deal with
think,
it too back then. I mean, we had people that didn't join because of that,
yeah,
or
it's
they quit because of
different now. And you know what? What people have learned is having a hardcore gym like that, you're going to lose people. And people are not going to stay there, especially if they're expecting to get elevated in belts. So what you have now is these watered down gyms that if the parent gets upset that their kid isn't moving forward fast enough, they'll complain. That person don't want to lose that child, and they'll get that belt, which is very disrespectful to the art itself. It's not, but that is the world we live in right now. So
it.
I
It's
get it how you're just like beyond pissed about it, but for one, I don't think this particular dojo is run like your dojo.
no,
It can't be, it
no.
just can't be. And I get how it infuriates you, but I get where it has an existence now because that's just a world. That's the watered down world that we live in now.
Let's I did initially have an issue with my head Brazilian jiu-jitsu coach. I won't name names. He's still working out in that area. He has his own place now, which shocks the ever loving hell out of me. But no, he has a situation where he would show up 5 minutes before his classes would start in the afternoon. One of his instructors would start a warm-up, which would last 20 to 25 minutes for an hour-long class.
Wow.
While he would go and get a Starbucks in the meantime. He would charge inordinate amounts for belt testing and stripe testing, blah, blah, blah. So finally, I kind of just lost it with him and my partner, and he's gone now. And that's when I basically went to go and contract through the Kyotera Academy. In the jiu-jitsu world, they all know the name Kyotera. And they know that a good friend of mine who is one of his black belts, who one of his instructors is a brown belt. Basically, Dennis Roberts had to win the Asian Pacific Rim Abu Dhabi qualifier in the ultimate class to get his black belt. He was a brown belt for 5 years prior to that.
Yeah.
So basically, he
Yeah.
had to qualify for the Abu Dhabi World to get his black belt. That's what got him his black belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyotera has blue and purple belts that could probably whip the ass of a lot of black belts.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
from like 10th Planet and Gorilla. You guys
Yeah.
are garbage compared to that. No offense.
Yeah. Yeah. No, the same thing.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like disrespectful, but back at our dojo, we would have Fresno police officers come in back when I was 19, 20, when I was training with Ty McGuire. And they'd come in with their really, really old gis and their black belts that just barely had any black on it at all, almost emulating that's how old and long they've been training. And I was a green belt, and Ty would have me take my belt off just so I didn't disrespect them. And I would absolutely run through them, just like literally just anything I wanted to do, the craziest jump, spinning hook, jump, spinning act kicks, the craziest things. And I would just run through them. And Ty would then remind me, that's the reason you're going to wait before you get your black belt. It's not that you don't fight well enough. For me, it was just a maturity thing. I just wasn't mature enough. And he literally held me back based on my maturity when I had all the qualifications of being a black belt. But that's how hard it was back then. Even though Taekwondo, there's different, styles of Taekwondo, but I took Taekwondo later in life. And you didn't get you didn't get tested by the instructor there. They literally had to videotape me, and they had to send it back to Seoul, Korea, for the masters to watch my video and then give me my black belt. But now, no, I mean, if you fuss or say that you're going to leave the school, you'll get your belt. You'll get the belt that you want. And, that's really disrespectful, because a lot of these people can think that they can defend themselves out on the street, and they'll just literally get ran through.
Yeah. I guess when it became a business, that's when things really
There you
kind
go.
of.
There you go. Because before it was all about the art. It was all about self-defense. It was all about authenticity. It was all about you as a person. Now, like I said, it's a business, and that's why business is a booming.
Yeah.
But the sport itself is being lost and watered down. Hence the videos that you've seen. And let's show another video of another style or training.
Yeah, and this one, this is a social media influencer who has millions of followers. She's made a big thing with, getting women in shape. She looks amazing, obviously, you'll
Yeah.
see in the video. But this is her, I guess, being put through a little bit of a boxing workout.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
That's the first real boxing exercise I've seen in this video.
Yeah. It's always funny. It's always extremely great looking person who's in shape that are doing those videos alluding to, if you do this type of workout, you're going to look like me someday.
Right. And I guess I need to go back a little bit because, I mean, you and I both said, I think did all of your kids take some form of martial arts as a kid?
Yes.
And obviously so did.
Except my oldest, Brandy.
Okay. Obviously all of mine did. They've done kickboxing, boxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Obviously one took it to an extreme after that, still is. But
oh, and Pearl. No, I train Pearl personally, but yeah.
okay. But I mean,
yeah,
it's
and Kenan.
I think the things that kids can learn from just about any martial art, even I think at some of those McDojos, they still get the respect factor. They learn that. They learn working within a system. So there's benefits to that. And as far as, body awareness, body control, movement, I don't think there's a martial art out there that doesn't give them that, even if it's not a high quality situation or if they're moved through quickly because of money. But I don't know if, I mean, obviously that woman, the last one, she is in shape. I mean, you can't deny that side of things.
Yeah, definitely.
She is probably fairly athletic, but you can tell that that's not her sport. She's not built for this. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah. And again, Greg, I just have to, as you look at it through those lenses, I don't think she's training for any defensive reason whatsoever. I think it's purely as a workout. So the technique isn't required or demanded or even taught. It's just the physical movements of actually punching and stepping. There's no pivot in her in her punches. There's no shoulder roll in her punches. It's just the movement. And like I said before, it's a watered down version where it's become a workout. And in its true form, martial arts, boxing, wrestling, any of those things, man, it is grueling. I mean, we know that our gis would literally be soaked after each training, but that's not what this is.
I counter with the whole, if you're going to do something, do it right. And if that means you could still get, I mean, you take those beginners, you put them through just front and horse stances for an hour, they're going to get a workout. They're going to be sore the next day.
If they don't quit, Greg.
If they don't quit.
And again, that's where some schools have understand that they can't train that hard. I know I have that conversation with Ty all the time, that he lose students because he trains them that hard. He trains them the old way. And the people who stay, they go on to do great things. And he goes, it's a huge turnover now. And there's plenty of gyms in this area will allocate towards that student and give them what they want, and that's just not what he wants. That's not just what he offers.
All right, so maybe I should be more mad at the people in the industry than the people that are wanting to.
Hey, there you go. Not the people who are actually doing the exercise, because they're just there. It's the actual academies and schools and gyms and all that you should be more upset about. But again, they're looking at it as money, man. They're not looking at it as technique or anything.
If we look at it this way, though, I mean, can we put also a little bit of blame on unrealistic expectations from the consumer? Because you go back that same one we just watched, what do you think got her to the point of looking that way? That athletic, muscular, small waist. I mean, she could. I mean, I believe she's in her 40s. She can make waves in NPC if she wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what got her to that point there? It's not that workout. It was nutrition and working out.
Yeah.
Probably not even
100%.
working out the way she does in her videos to sell products.
No, I
Probably
doubt it.
she's in the gym putting time in.
Yeah,
and
have to get that type of physique if
Right,
it
and
wasn't
then-
done through surgery.
Hopefully. Yeah, no, I don't think there's a surgery. But it's just I don't know, because there's I bring up that one girl that was in the Cobra Kai series, Reign of Landingham. She had her first, they said she's 22 years old currently. She's a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Should have taken her 22 years to get to a black belt in all realism. Unless that's all she did. She didn't go to school, which in some Asian countries that's possible.
Yeah.
But to get to a 4th degree, I mean, she was a black belt by 6. She is a 13-time world championships in the ATA, probably forums competitions, which, all right, if that's your thing, people like pickleball.
From
Whatever.
her kicks and being in movies, it probably was forms,
Right.
because those are the people who make it into the movies. Not a lot of fighters make it into the movies.
Shout out Benny the Jet. He's the only one.
Shout out to Michael J. White. Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if the proper,
Sorry, Mike, I pronounced your name wrong. Michael Jaw White, not Jay. Jaw. Yeah.
No, I mean, if you set the right expectations, I mean, in the 80s, I mean, the 70s when I started, it was the expectation was you're going to do this 100% right. The foundation will be 100% right. And people didn't really question it back then, I don't think.
No, they did. And the parents knew that. They knew that their kids was going to train hard. They knew that their kids were going to cry and fuss, and they kept them in it because it was about discipline.
And they knew they're going to fail. Everybody fails. That's the best. What Yoda say? Failure, the best teacher there is.
There he is. There it is. As you find out your limits and push through it.
Right. And I just don't know if I don't have a problem if that's what they're gonna if that keeps someone active. But I do have a problem if they're not going to learn it and apply it correctly. I guess is the big thing. What would you do? I mean, if you had someone that went to the gym, they're going to start working out and they're going to say, all right, I'm going to do some squats. But they only put weights on one side of the bar. At least they're doing it. They're trying.
That's an extreme.
It's about as close to what I saw kickboxing wise in these videos.
I just have to agree with you there. I mean, again, it's just business. That's all they're trying to do is business, get people in the door. It's not about that. I don't think it's about martial arts or being technical and throwing punches or stands or anything like that. It's not that at all. And, I get it. I agree with you 100%. But also I can see that's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to teach them to be able to defend themselves. They're not trying to teach them proper stance or techniques or any of that at all. They're just trying to water it down as well to cater to those people where they don't quit and they stay there and keep paying money.
That's where I will. I don't know. Do you know Billy Blanks personally?
Yeah, I do.
That's where I will always hold him the most responsible for this crap. Because I remember videos on ESPN when he was doing the whole Taibo thing and about how applicable Taibo was, Billy, you fucktard, the street self-defense situations.
Yeah, that was just marketing.
And then people took that and ran. I mean, as far as marketing, money-making situations, Billy, I give you your credit there. You took something that should not have worked and it blew up. Look where it is now. But it blew up and you made a lot of money off it. You were everywhere.
I would have to say he's the seed of all that. He's the first to ever do that.
But for someone who was an actual martial artist, a competitive fighter, shame on you for that. I will say that for the rest of my life. I'm a fundamentalist when that situation goes because I mean, my family has DNA in the martial arts.
Yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from, Greg, but on the other side of it, he found a niche. It was incredibly powerful. It made him a lot of money. I think it is the spawn of all of these gyms that we have now and we see. Um, you know, I will say that his was a little more technical than these are now. He did kind of trying to get them to throw their punches right, proper stands and stuff like that. But he found a niche, man, and it worked. And for that reason, I can't, I can't say nothing bad about him. No, he didn't take the traditional route like my instructor Ty. He has still a real gym. He
Mhm.
deals with that. Kids, like I say, they'll cry. They won't come back because it's too hard and stuff like that. He didn't take that route, but there's still schools out there that is more about discipline than it is about money. It's more about the art than it is about money.
Yep.
And those schools, those dojos normally are not making it, or they're barely breaking even because there's a massive turnover. And I know that's what he deals with on a daily basis.
Well, that almost makes me respect him more, because if he's sticking by his guns on that,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
and he
Yeah.
knows he might lose some people, because I mean,
Yeah.
I argue that if you put the right business person in place on top of it, like Kyotera is massively successful on the business aspect, because he has a guy running the business side of things to make sure that it runs properly and it's marketed properly.
Yeah.
Before COVID, which kind of ruined everything for all the martial arts centers basically, but I ran our facility like that, and we were $1.2 million a year in dues.
Wow.
And we lost people, but I basically told them, bye, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not watering down this product so
Yeah.
you can feel like you accomplished something. And even the ones who would, I mean, the whole respect aspect of it, the martial art Bushido code side. I mean, just imagine how this went. I had 2 kids that were a little bit out of control. Their parents basically let them do whatever they wanted. They decided to make a joke with a pedophile aspect of it about one of our junior instructors.
Mhm.
What do you think their next 2 weeks were like when I took over those classes? Let's say they perfected the duck walk and bunny hops and push-ups for 2 weeks until they learned why that was a bad idea. Plus, they had to do a formal apology in front of the entire academy to the instructor. And because honor and accountability is a part of the process.
Yeah. Again, Greg, there's just going to be people out there that figure out a way to exploit
No, yeah, that's true.
things that were built on solid foundations. And that is truly the world we live in. We live in a watered down version. We had done a segment before about, it's an actual facts and studies proven that men are a weaker version of the men that were before. And you have that played out now. So if you look at it in that way, I know you'll understand and won't get upset. That's the reason why these schools exist, for all those reasons. It doesn't come from traditional. It doesn't come from honesty. People have figured out a way to take advantage of people um, that want to get in shape or learn the arts. Um, and it's probably a lot harder to find out who those real schools are. Now, saying that, your parent has to be all in. No, if you start, you're going to finish. You're not going to quit. There is no whining. Now we go back to this generation of kids now that are just quitters, don't try hard or anything like that. It's a vicious cycle, and that's why I said I'm easy. It's easy for me to switch my brain over and like, oh, I get it. I see where that works, and not get upset about it. But yeah, I mean, me and Ty were just talking last night about it, just like, man, how different it was. And he was even talking back before when him and Billy were fighting when they're a lot younger. There was no pads. There
No.
was no feet protection. I remember back when I started with Shorin-ryu and Shotokan when I was 13 and 14 years, there was no pads. There was no freaking hand protection. There was no head protection. There was no foam carpet. There was just a freaking rug that was over cement, and that was it. And you got your face bruised, you got your ribs bruised, but it was powerful techniques. It was genuine, and no one cried about it. We knew what we were getting into. It was a world of man up, be hard, go hard, and that's what you expect. It's not the world we live in anymore, bro.
Yeah. And the
It's
big
not.
difference there is you guys took it on to learn how to learn the martial arts.
That's why I went. I went to learn. I went to learn discipline, and then after I learned discipline, I stayed because of being able to protect myself, and then found out about the fight world, and that just I just fully engaged when I found that out. Yeah, but it was
Yep.
an evolution of that. What did it start off with? The basics, horse stands, sitting there for 30, 40 minutes, just reverse punching. Your freaking ribs are killing you. Your abs are killing you. Your legs are burning, sitting in that deep horse stand. And if you came up to like deeper, go
Yep.
deeper, you
Or you
know,
got hit with the stick.
or whacked over the legs, or like you're not doing that reverse punch right. Let me show you how to do that. Pow! Now the air is out of you.
Again. You heard that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Again. Do it right.
Yeah. Man. So, that's the world we live in, brother. I get it, but for the brain cells that you burn on getting so angry and offended, you need to find a better way of being able to be able to live with that without freaking having it just raise your blood pressure. Because at the end of the day,
it burns calories. I'm good.
Yeah, right. But all right, that's another episode of Flex Your Life with my co-host Greg. You guys, please like, follow, subscribe, and again, you can ask for different videos or different things that you guys want us to talk about. We'd be more than happy to oblige. Until next time, we're out.